So everything is a mindset. Everything is a way that we perceive and the way that we think about things. So many times I walk into buildings. So many times I walk into. I like being the light because it's dark in there.
Yes, it is.
I like being the light. I like being the thermostat and not the thermometer.
Come on. Yeah,
Amen?
Yeah.
See, a thermostat sets the temperature. When you just blend it in, you just enjoy where you are.
Yes.
So we got to be the thermostat and not the temperature. We got to set the temperature in our life, no matter where you go, what you do. I remember coming up as a young man. All these days now that is past and gone, we took a lot of pride in those things.
That's right.
Man, I tell you what, we just couldn't wait. We just couldn't wait. But, you know, time changed, but still don't mean that we got to change who we are or where we're from, because our circumstance doesn't define who we are. Amen?
Right, not at all.
So we got to keep pushing the mark. We got to keep pushing for the mark. Because when we became lenders instead of borrowers, our life would get a lot better. Because we can achieve all things. But I think, traditionally speaking, the black community have been engulfed with a church on every corner. Now, that's good. That's good. But together you stand, divided you fall. Just think if we took I don't know how many churches there is on each block. We took all that knowledge, all that $8 or 20 cents you put in church or whatever you put in, and combine those. Just think how powerful we would be.
Right.
Then those churches can be stores, restaurants, community centers for the people that's here. But see, when we change our way of thinking, we change our mindset. Just because my church is 150-some years old, that didn't change where I come from.
Right.
That just means that economically we need to come together and pool our resources together to be a power, something to be reckoned with.
Right.
If you pass down 105, you see what's happening. And the church has to realize that it's coming. You know, because we'll knock the doors off the church on Wednesday and every Sunday. Our Father and our Lord, and we can't come together under one roof. There's something wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. But it got to start with the people that's put in charge. I'm just a vessel, and I'll work wherever I can.
Come on.
I work wherever I can. So on that note, I just want to say something. I'm not much of a talker.
Oh, really?
I'm not much of a talker.
Yeah.
But I just think that it's time, and time is constantly winding up. That as a community, the only way we're going to survive and be able to do anything, we got to come together. Closer. And I'm not saying that we don't. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it needs to be a complete overhaul. It needs to be a complete overhaul.
Yeah.
I just think that the thing that we care so much about, the only way we're going to preserve those things, we got to stay unified. Because if TJ Toe is hurting over here, and I'm up tired on the phone telling him what he do about it, if I ain't here helping, that's toe still gonna hurt, right, TJ?
That's right.
I've learned.
Come on, son.
How to live holy. I've learned how to live right. Oh, I learned. We've learned how to suffer.
Come on, son.
For I know if we suffer, we'll gain eternal life. I've learned how to live holy. Thank God. I've learned how to live right. Oh, I learned. We learn how to suffer. For I know if we suffer, we'll gain eternal life.
Yes, sir.
And when I see Jesus, you got a good picture, LA? Because I want to see Jesus. Amen.
All right, son.
When I
Say it now.
see Jesus, amen.
Come on, son.
All of my troubles,
All
let
of
me
it.
shackles, no more shackles.
No more.
All of my heartaches, no more Yazabal. cross.
Yes, sir.
When I see Jesus, it'll be amen. When I used to pick the cotton, you see, they hung up on Calvary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All of my heartaches,
All of them.
all my disappointments, all my backbiting,
Yeah.
will soon be over. Cause when I see Jesus,
Come on now.
it'll be
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
Amen.
All right.
I gotta get out here to the pit because I don't want to meet the burger. I want everybody to be able to suck the bone, suck meat, just fall right off the bone.
All right. First of all, I say praise God for just one more chance to be with my people. Or they're going to say it in the country with my people. You know, they got a big thing in Houston at the Emancipation Park yesterday with the opening of the Emancipation Park. And I had spent a lot of young years at that park with my cousin when I was a kid. But I got invited to this and I felt I wanted to be here because my first remembrance of life was right here in Montgomery, Texas with Miss Pauline Hamilton and my sister, Uncle Booster, the Principal Monroe Lawson, and my fondest memories of when I was a little boy. I started school in 1947, I think, a couple of years ago. But anyway, I just want, before I say anything else, I want to give a little credit to TJ and his wife. I think he's a great dude. Y'all think, what y'all think of TJ?
Don't vote for him.
I thought, to me, TJ top shelf. And for this program going on Juneteenth, you know, I got in my poem, they want us to forget. Anyway, I wrote this poem a couple of months ago, the title of it, It Did Happen. And it goes like this. They brought us over in the bottom of a ship, not understanding the language, so they used the whip. A lot of them died, some jumped in the ocean. They didn't want to be slaves, that started the motion. But they brought us to America with no regret. Now everybody's saying, you need to forget. Some was hanged, others were beat in the street. A lot of people gathered around just to see our defeat. They brought us over with no way home, raped our women, that changed our skin tone. Africans and Americans are American Indians and Albions. Check your dictionary to see where that comes from. That's not albino, that's Albion, so check it out. Light skin worked in the big house, dark skin worked in the field. Check your history, you know that was for real. Moses married an Ethiopian woman and she was black. Read your Bible, there's Numbers 12:1, Acts 8:27, and Jeremiah 13:23. We knew about Jesus before we crossed the big sea, and that's plain to see. No black ever got rich for picking cotton or working in the field. No money, and if you had an idea, that's what they would steal. Working on the plantation, getting food from the commissary was the way to go. At the end of the year, we owed them, and if you ran, they cut off your toe. It did happen, and you would like for us to forget. You celebrate the Holocaust, but with us, there's no regret. We are a forgiving people, and there is no hate. The lies you told, and we fell for the bait. God is blessing us, and we come a long way. Struggling in the U.S., how much more do we have to pay? Rodney King, why can't we just get along? The rainbow of colors that should make us strong. Yeah, that's it. She asked for one. Okay, let me.
I didn't say I would. Someone I asked for. We want to thank Brother Ernest for that wonderful song, and we want to thank Brother Bubba Lestrade for that poem. Would you like to do another?
I think he got it. Yeah.
Okay, please.
Let me say this. I never was the sharpest knife in the drawer when I was a kid. I hated school. Just barely graduated from high school. All of my relatives, y'all know the Monroes and the Hamilton, and my sister, Prairie View, she taught school for 40-some years. And my thing was, somebody got to work. And I figured, My sister, we used to brag on how much you make a year, and how much when I was in Seattle and she in Chicago, how much you make. I said, baby, you better come on out of this factory and make some money, because I was making almost $60,000 in 1978.
Okay.
Because I was overtime them white folks to death. My work was home, work, and church. That's all. And I had 4 small mouths to feed and one big one to listen to, so I had to work. Nobody on any job has ever outworked me, because all I knew was work. You know, I didn't want to go to school. I figured if I work, if my sister make this much money teaching school, all I got to do is work just a little harder. And that's what I did. Because I told her, baby, you better come make some money out here. But nevertheless, I like history. So for the last 20 years, it tastes good to me. And I was shocked to know all the accomplishment that black folks did. Y'all need, I got a book, the title of it is I Too Sing America. Y'all need to read that to see what all we've done. Do you know a little simple thing? You know a black man invented the golf tee? Just simple things like that. And this one is titled They Forgot. It might be a little too long, but go ahead. I would like to believe that they just forgot. The contribution of Afro-American is quite a lot. Norman Roloff revolutionized the improvement of sugar in 1806. In my history books, Roloff's name wasn't mixed. It wasn't in the mix. In 1806, Benjamin Banner invented the first striking clock in the U.S., also surveyed the federal territory in Washington, D.C. Afro-Americans doing great things while trying to be free. In 1779, Jean Baptiste Point de Sable was the first to settle Esquerro, now known as Chicago. It was a black man. Just a few more facts that any historian should already know. Henry Blair received a patent for the corn plant machine in 1834. Not in my history book, but there are many, many more. In 1856, Granville T. Woods invented the steam boiler, the auto brakes, and the furnace, and the incubator. Contribution in history I didn't learn until much, much later. It wasn't in the white folks' history books, nothing like that. Just a little of this history is taking a lot of time. I must tell you, all of it might not rhyme. In 1890, William B. Purvis received a patent for inventing the fountain pen. Afro-American discovering large and small that has no end. Andrew Beard invented the rotary engine in 1892. Keep reading his poem because I'm not nearly through. In 1893, Dr. Daniel Hale Williams performed the first open heart surgery. A black man accompanied this, and that wasn't perjury. In 1899, L.C. Bailey invented the folding bed. George F. Grant, patent for the golf tee. All that good stuff, and they probably didn't get a fee. 1904, Charles R. Drew created the plasma method of blood preservation. All doctors are still using that same demonstration. The gas mask and the three-way traffic signal in 1923, Gordon T. Morgan is credited for those inventions. In 1958, reading my U.S. history book, none of their names was ever mentioned. As I remember, and I could be wrong, contribution to Afro-America, the list wasn't that long. This poem might not be good, and some history might have been hid. The accomplishment of Afro-America, that's what they did. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so glad we called him back, because it was full. It was full. Shared a lot of history with us. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Our next person on the program is Miss Elnora Hatcher. She's not here. She had a little mix up on the time, so what we're going to do, if it's okay, Sister Owensworth, we're gonna switch you guys, and we're gonna have Sister Owensworth come give us a song. And after that, we'll have a speaker, and our speaker will come up and do his job, and then we'll have Miss Elnora when she comes.
All right.
Good morning.
All right, good morning.
I'm glad to be here. I'm torn between two songs, so I'm going to ask you guys to join in to sing.
Do both. Maybe you do. You do too.
I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Jesus. When I woke up this morning with my mind we trust him, we will be led. For there's a brighter day ahead. For there's a brighter day ahead. For in God's word we have read, if we trust him, we will be led. For there's a brighter day ahead. 'Cause farther up the road, far in a distance, we can see the light shining in the night. It's penetrating life's heavy foe, for it is Jesus,
Come on.
and he conquers all. Light shining bright, moving close to him. My Jesus light never ever grows dim. For there's a brighter day is coming. There's a brighter day ahead.
All right, all right.
It did happen.
Yes, it did. And there's a brighter day ahead.
Yes, yes.
Long dark road that I had to climb, that I had to go in order for my race to live and grow. Look at my face, it's black as the night, yet shining in the sunlight, lustrous light. I'm the dark child who crossed the wide sea, carrying in my body the seeds of the free. I'm the one who was beaten, mistreated for the work that I had done. Children sold away, husbands sold too. No respect, no safety, no love was I due. Yet 300 years in the dark of the Sabbath, God put a dream and prayer in my heart.
Come on.
God put a dream like steel in my soul, and now through my children, I'm reaching my goal.
Come on.
Now through my children, young and free, I realize the blessing denied to me. Oh, I couldn't read then. I couldn't write. I had nothing back there in the night. Sometimes the road was hot with the sun, but I had to keep on till my work was done.
Come on now.
I had to keep on. There was no stopping for me. I was the seed of the coming tree. So all you children in the world out there, remember your dreams, your hope, your prayer. Just tie your burdens up out of the dust and stand like free people, supporting our trust. And I shall be with you till no less a brother dare put down any of you, my children, of the Negro father and mother. To our Lord and our Savior, Jesus Christ, each of you came out today to help us celebrate this special occasion. To the program committee, to the staff that's working in the kitchen, to the cook. Now you might eat that barbecue, and I'm gonna say apologize now if you found a toenail in it, he stuck his foot in it. To each of you, my brothers and sisters, I just want to say we are happy to have you out today. And as I sit there and I listen to the song by Brother Arnsworth, you know, Brother Easley.
Yeah.
And then hear the poem by Brother Lestrap, and then to hear Sister Edna.
Yeah.
All I need to do is just kind of sit down because they know they already got it going. And I saw Annette over here that, you know, she was our speaker last year, so I figured out, I was telling my wife I was getting kind of hoarse. I was trying to tell her maybe I was going to get her to come back up and say something about it. And I heard Brother Lestrap talking about I Too Sing America.
Yeah.
You know, when Langston Hughes, James Langston Hughes was his name. And he dropped the James and went to Langston. He was over in Europe with Alan Locke, and he got beat up. And he wondered how did he get beat up, and all his money got taken away. And Alan caught the ship and came back to America. He had to stay. He couldn't get a job. He couldn't get anything. So he started working, and then he said, you know, then he started thinking about it, and then he wrote that poem, I Too Am American.
That's right.
You know, they sent me to eat in the kitchen when company come. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Said, tomorrow I sit at the table. No one dare say to me, eat in the kitchen. They'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am American.
Look out, son.
If I look back in our history and I think about and say how we came to America, some people say they dragged us from our homeland. They chained us in coffins. They huddled us beautiful in silver plaid. They branded you, they scourged you, they made our women breathers. They taught us a religion they disgraced. And we sang, over my head,
Yes, sir.
I see freedom in the air.
Yeah.
And we sang, there's a brighter day
Yes, sir.
ahead. Today they shout prohibition at us, thou shalt not this, thou shalt not that. We laugh. But for one thing they cannot prohibit, strong black men and women kept coming on.
Look out.
Kept strong black men and women getting strong. But what makes you so strong? Black women, black men,
Look out.
after all they done to you, what makes you so
Wow.
strong? Woo! You know, they talk about General Gordon Granger landing in Galveston, Juneteenth, 1865, with 1,800 to 2,000 men. And at the time, the governor of the state, Pendleton Murray, he left the state of Texas, went into Mexico because he didn't want to be here when the Union Army came.
Right.
As a matter of fact, he didn't want our great-great-grandparents to be free.
Right.
So he skied up and he left. And then that's when he stood on the steps on the Aston Villa Hotel and read General Order 3, freeing the slaves that was here. But for some reason, that was 2.5 years after
That's right. That's
the
right.
Emancipation Proclamation was written. You know, the preliminary came July 22nd, when Abraham Lincoln met with his cabinet and said, and then 100 days after that, they went to September the 22nd, and he said and then they got Appomattox, they had a victory. So that Wednesday night, while they was at Temple Street Baptist Church, Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, and them was in there, and they became weak because they hadn't heard anything, nothing had come down through the wire. And Sojourner Truth stood up, and she said, told Frederick, God is not dead.
No, sir. No, sir.
And that began to give him more strength. And over the wire, it came over the wire that he had signed the Emancipation Proclamation. But for 2.5 years, some reason, the word didn't travel to Texas.
Not to Texas. That's right.
But somehow, you know, that's what the history books say.
Yeah.
But somehow I believe that it did. Because I know I had a great-great-great-great-great-granddaddy somewhere driving that buggy. And he probably went carried master to different parts of town. And while they sitting in the back talking about those Negroes that we done set free, I'm sure he was listening. Like, you know how them bunny rabbit ears go up? I'm sure he was listening. He didn't say anything. He heard all that. Even in the kitchen, you know, when they were cooking, they were serving, they had people sitting around the table. And you know, at that time, they didn't. The kitchen were not in the big house. The kitchen was outside. Yeah. And they called it, so when the slaves brought the food to them, they had it called Whistle Row. They had to whistle as they brought the food to make sure that they wasn't eating the food. But I'm sure that was a brother and sister there learned to whistle and eat. You know they did. You know they had to learn to whistle and eat. You know, as they brought the food to the mouth. And then all of this happened on Juneteenth.
Yes, sir.
You know, we stood there Juneteenth 1865. And you know what? What's ironic about that? You just celebrated Father's Day yesterday. The first Father's Day was celebrated Juneteenth, 1910. Isn't that ironic? Sonora Dog Hall, Juneteenth. But when we look at the history of black, just here in Montgomery, the town of Montgomery, this town was sold along with the courthouse for 7 slaves.
Come on.
And if you go to the Fernland Park or you go to the downtown Conroe and pull out, I think it's number F100, page 1, in the name, and you have Abner. It's a street that the developer said he was going to name some streets after the black. Over in this subdivision, Buffalo, there's one street named Abner. That was a black man. Now they didn't have, I couldn't never find any of the last names because, we didn't have names. But it was Abner, it was Caroline. You see another street here named Caroline. Another one named it was Betsy and Bill and Spink. And then it was Carter. And then the other one named that I found was Moses. And if you go up by the new Kroger, You know the new Kroger that they building? The street that's right beside it is called Gardner Road. Gardner Road, remember this. The lady's name was Judy Gardner, black woman. Judy Gardner. She was the slave to Nat Bo Davis, who was the father of Nat Hart Davis, where you had the little museum there. She was the slave, and anyway, she was the mother of Fannie Bird. See some of her offsprings over there with big hat on over there. Walker Bird. Black people. Right here in Montgomery. So when you see those names, and you say, well, you had one guy that did push one black name through, so we got one.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you think about that. But, you know, the slave trade was brutal. Can you imagine being tied and whipped with a cow whip for learning how to read?
Yes.
Can't you imagine how it's been to go to people scratching where you didn't itch and laughing when it wasn't even funny?
Yeah, yeah.
At that time, we was hung for seeking other jobs, being too prosperous, failing to say Mr. to a person,
Yeah.
students moving over from the sideline. But yet, to the free black, freedom was getting up when you wanted to and lying down when the spirit hit you. Freedom was two names. Freedom was drinking gin and whiskey.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the slave
yeah,
trade
yeah.
was rough. Can you imagine suffocating your newborn baby because you didn't want it to grow up to be a slave?
My Lord, yeah.
Can you imagine how it must have been? You know, people work from sun up to sundown, and they never had a break. They never got vacation time. But they had one thing that they did. They knew that nothing could separate them from the love of God. No matter what they did to them, whether they was in the hull of a ship, they might have called him Yahweh.
Right.
They might have called him Muhammad. They came to America. And all the people that came to America that looked like us were not slaves.
Not at all.
You know, at first they came as indentured servants. You know how they would tear a piece of paper and they would tear it in half, and it was good for 7 years. And you would, after your 7 years, you could come and match up those two pieces, and you could earn your freedom. And then there was some people that looked like us that owned slaves.
That's right.
Benjamin
Right.
O. Taylor, black man, and he owned like 70 or 80 some slaves, had his own big plantation.
Yeah.
You know, so we have to realize that that name slave, that you came here slave, you weren't always a slave.
Not at all.
You came here as free people.
Yes, yes, yes.
You came here as somebody. You came here owning things. You came here able to do things with trade.
Right.
And the people stole what you had.
Now, that's it. That's it.
You know, I look back and I think, you know, integration was good. But some of us did better when we went through those
You
back
sure
doors.
right. You sure right. You sure right.
Then I would know the cooks over here.
That's right. You know more. That's right.
They would give me the biggest piece of cornbread, a biscuit,
That's right.
a piece of cake to put in my pocket.
That's right.
And they'll tell you, say, now you sit over there, boy.
Yeah.
And don't you say anything. And I sit there, Brother Scott, and I say, Our Father,
Yeah.
who art in heaven.
Yes, sir.
White man owe me 11 and paid me 7. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. If I hadn't took this, then I wouldn't have none. Now we go through the front door, we don't know what we get. Boy, I'm at Papa though. I'm at Papa. But I remember a good friend of mine named Marvin Ziller. And he would always say that slime in the high school shit. I'm not, you know, Carter G. Woodson said it like this. He said, when you control a man thinking, you don't have to worry about their action. You don't have to tell him to stand here or go yonder. He will find his proper place and stay in it. You don't have to send him to the back door. He would go without being told.
Right.
And if there's not a back door, he'll cut one for his special benefit. His education determined it. And we must teach our kids to be proud of who they are. To be proud of where they come from. You heard Brother Lestrap talking about some people in the Bible, talking about Moses. He talking about Zipporah, the black, the Ethiopian.
You're black.
Aaron and Miriam was mad at it.
That's right. It's in the book.
Because what? Had a black woman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You look back and you do read back your history and you study about the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, black.
And find out where it was located before it all from the motherland.
That's right. Africa.
You look at the one that helped Christ carry his cross.
Come on, black too. It's in the book.
Simon the Cyrene.
Yes.
Black.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Been there all the time. Come
You
on.
look at Makeba, which you call Queen of Sheba.
That's right, black.
Who was she?
Jet black.
Black.
Yes, sir.
And we wonder why we don't talk about the people that look like us.
Yes, sir.
And I meet people all the time and say, oh, you know, I don't see color. I said, I don't want you not to see color.
Really?
God made me this color. I want you to see my trials and
See me.
tribulations that I'm going through. You know, you can't tell me you don't see color.
Yeah, really.
And you think, and you go back, and you can start from Genesis all the way down, and you're gonna see people that look like you.
That's right. Oh.
Brown versus Board of Education, Dr. Kenneth Clark, Dr. Louise Hope, when they did the experiment with the dog, 4 black dogs and 4 white dogs, it wasn't based on what was all this separate but equal, but it was based on what the little black kids looked at. And when they saw the little white dog, they said, well, you know, that's the prettiest one. And they did it, it was psychological.
Exactly.
That they were doing.
Yeah.
And we doing the same thing to our kids today.
Same thing today.
Why you say that, TJ? Well, I'm glad she asked.
Come on.
Because you go and you say, man, the minority kids, the minority students, the minority place, the minority race. I never see what God said, well, I'm going to build a minority race.
Right. Not at all.
I never seen that psychologically when I grow up from here. And I grew up, and if my little kid, and I keep telling Barry, you're a minority, you're a minority, you're a minority, you're a minority, you're a minority. And when he reached my age, what he gonna believe he is?
Minority.
So your ideas don't weigh much.
Wow.
It's just talking about, it's just the history of
Facts. Yeah.
fact with it. You heard him talk about Dr. Daniel Hill Williams. July the 7th, 1893, he performed the first open heart surgery on James A. Carney after he had been stabbed in the heart. And then the next month, August the 2nd, he had to go back in and redo it. Augustus Jackson, a black man who was credited with the invention of the ice cream making process. George Crumb and Thomas, they were credited with the potato chip. Nicholas Bill, first black man wounded in the Civil War. You know, you think about the Civil War, you think about Harry Beecher Stowe, you think about Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Yeah.
Read the book and before you start telling somebody he's the Uncle Tom.
Yeah, you're right. That's right.
Read the book
Woo, you own it.
and see what Uncle Tom did.
Yep.
Read the book.
Yeah.
Then that way you won't always say, well, man, he's the Uncle Tom.
Uncle Tom. Yeah.
Evidently, you don't know what that is.
Uncle Tom Hill. That's right.
If you telling me I'll tell, oh, man, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's just that we pass on to our kids.
Exactly.
Generation and generation and
Exactly.
generation. We keep the shackles on their mind.
Wow.
So what am I saying?
Got it right.
Let's take them off. Let's be the best that we can be. That's all that we're saying, and that's what this Juneteenth is all about. And once they were celebrated, once they came, even here in Montgomery, they say that he talked about his ancestor, Mr. Monroe Lawson, the granddaddy of him,
Right.
the one who went to Colonel. They were teaching at the college in Colonel. They had started school, and he was teaching, going back and forth. And they beat him up.
That's right. That's right.
He died.
Exactly.
His son took over. You think about, I'm talking about Lawson High School. That's all history right here
That's right.
in Montgomery.
Lawson.
They built a new school in Keena. That's not a new school. Might be a new school to them, but black schools in Keena. There's school in every place. This first house across from Jim Hartwell, the front part of it, Mr. May House, the front part of it was the old school that was in Brownwood, historical, right there behind them bushes. They moved it there, I think in 36 or 37. Each area, the bottom had a black school. You know, Bailey Grove, they had the black school. You know, and you know the little house uptown come from the little building uptown or whatever it is, the little shop, come from Darwin. It was the old Darwin school. So you got to think about the history that's right here in Montgomery. At one time, there was over 500 slaves here in this town. And they outnumbered the other people that was here. Where the cemetery started, down on it used to be a mill there, and they used to call that part of town Spook's Inn. It was old Gist Mill. And then the cemetery started, when I was doing the research on it, I found some records that said it was I found a paper that I got, and it said May 10th, 1831, conflict of the black cemetery. And I had to stop because I can't get other papers to support that. So I've been directed to go to Austin to the patent office, and they said they can help me research a little more. But it's saying that that cemetery was there in 1831. Wow. Town didn't really start in 1837, but the slaves was here.
Yes, sir.
They were working, so they had to have somewhere to bury their people.
Wow.
So it's showing that it say May 10th, 1831. You know, you think about all the things, we all know about Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think you don't know about Harriet Tubman. You know about Amaretta Ross. That was her name. Her mother's name was Harriet Tubman.
She knows, that's right.
So I don't think many of us know about her mom. Her mom was Harriet. They thought just calling her Amaretta. And then we know about Sojourner Truth, and you know she changed her name to Isabella. You know, you look back at the warriors at the time, Gabriel Prosser, Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, Tucson Overture. You might find a Turner school, but you don't find Gabriel. You don't find a Denmark Vesey school. You know, we was more common. We used Turner, Lincoln, MLK. We blended in.
Yeah.
But those radical guys, Nat Turner, who escaped and killed those people, he was captured on October the 30th, 1831, and then he was hung November 11th. All of those guys, they represented something. They were proud of who they were, and that's what that's what this is all about. This Juneteenth, to a new beginning, just to reminisce of who you are. We got Brother Adams back there, Brother James Adams back there. You look up on the board of the Montgomery Community Center, dedicated to the memory of the men in the Montgomery community who gave their lives in World War II. First name on there, who? That's his brother. Be proud. So we fought, we died, we bled, we gave, we did all the things that other people did. So we can walk up and be proud of who we are. We can stand and say, I'm black, I'm beautiful skinned, and I'm full of love.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I saw my brother, and my brother I could not see. I saw my sister, and she eluded me. Then I sought my God, and I found all three.
Come on now.
Annette would tell you last year when she came with the paper sack, and she gave that tip, and she would hold that bag up against you. And if you were lighter than that, what happened?
Look out, son.
If you were lighter than that, what happened? I could be in the house.
In the house.
But if I was black like me,
You got to go to the field. Go to the field. Yes, sir.
and I heard some people say they were pulling for Golden State because they had all the light-skinned guys. Now, I heard that. I'm talking about the basketball championship.
Yeah. Oh, the red ball.
And these people that look like me.
Yeah. That's right.
I ain't telling you what I did. I'm telling you what I heard. So we still got that Willie Lynch. You know, Willie Lynch came in 1712, and he said he was going to teach the slave owners how to keep your slaves to be slaves for over 300 years.
Lynch, that's right.
And we're still there.
It worked, yeah.
You don't believe we're still there? How many times you hear the pastor talking about the blacks in the Bible? How many times? But now, if you read over and talk about Jesus and you read the description of it, I ain't gonna tell you what it says.
Like lamb wool. Come on now.
But what was his hair like?
Lamb wool.
Huh?
That's it right here. Lamb wool.
What is some of y'all hair like?
Lamb wool. Yes.
Feet bronze. I didn't make it up.
It's in the book. Yeah, it's in the book. Yeah.
So this summer, I compare you, if this summer, we started reading class. All of us here, we started reading class. Miseducation of the Negro, Dr. Carter G. Woodson. We need to read that book this summer. Share it with our kids. The Spook Who Sits by the Door, Samuel Greenlee. We need to read that book. The Souls of Black Folk, W.E. Du Bois. You know, he in But he had the conflict.
Yep.
Read that book. Pass it on to our kids.
Yes, sir.
Think about some of the people that look like us.
My Lord.
Be proud of who you are.
Yes, sir.
You know, black folks, they told me they were tough enough to fight. They were tender enough to cry. Human enough to make mistakes. Humble enough to admit them. Strong enough to absorb the pain, and resilient to bounce back and keep on moving.
Wow.
You look back at 1912, we got the Montgomery County NAACP president sitting in here. He tell you about Walter White and the boys in Houston, them, what they went through. At that time, black was hung every 3 days. There was a black person hung.
Yes,
Here in Montgomery, up by Field Roadhouse, a big tree. You know what they call that tree? The hanging tree. Strange fruit.
Strange fruit.
You ever heard that? Strange fruit.
Yes, sir.
The strange fruit was us dangling,
Yes, sir.
hanging. All of that happened. All of that's a part of our history.
Yes,
All
it
of
is.
that makes us strong. So when I say, what makes you so strong, black man? So they drag you from your homeland. But what makes you so strong? God
Yes, sir.
makes us strong.
Yes.
So whatever you do,
Wow.
don't forget. Hold on to it.
Yes, sir.
On the back of your program. You see on the back of your program, that's like that represents the Sankofa bird out of Ghana. The picture I'm talking about. Just look at the picture. All the people, I didn't do it, I just saw the picture.
Yeah.
All of them doing what? Looking back.
Looking back.
Sankofa bird.
Good God.
Ghana.
I see you.
The Sankofa bird. They look back to reclaim their history so they can move forward. So that's all I ask you to do. If you can't be a pine on the top of a hill, be a shrub in the valley. But be the best little shrub by the side of the hill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be the highway, just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. For it matters not in the side that you win or that you fail, but you got to be the best
The best.
at whatever you are. You don't might not have to be the best in that room, but do your best.
Do it. That's it. That's it.
And I look at these young kids, and I know they're not into the old school music
Right,
like we
not at all.
do, you know. And then you look in the Bible, that was always the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Ananites, and probably was some Shalites and termites in there.
Termites. Yes, sir. You got it.
I don't know. And they, and they used to sing as they was in that field, and they would go on and they would sing those old songs. Over my head, I see freedom in the air.
Yes, sir.
Another slave is over here might say, before I be a slave, I'll be what? Dead. And in my grave.
Yes, sir.
And they probably had some rap young people. They probably were rapping back then. I don't know, but they probably had some rap. I knew when I grew up, I had Underdog, and I thought that was the only rap that it was. He would always say, whenever my pilot's in trouble, I'm not slow as hip, hip, hip. And away I go. And then because I used to think that was the thing. And then I grew up, and then I found out there was other kinds of rap. That was that the boasting rap. Say, I'm the king of rap. There's no how to suck MC or call me sire. Then there was that educational rap. Say, I used to drive around in my big car, and now all I see are bars. I used to think that I was better. Now I'm a little fella waiting on the letter in jail because we, as elders, failed. But our Bible tells us to train up a child in the way he should go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And when he's old, he would not depart from it. That sounds good. But I say it like this, train up a child in the way he should go, then go that way yourself.
There you go. Hey.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Some people say, I'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day. I'd rather one would walk with me than merely point the way.
Point the
The
look out.
eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Find examples into confusion, but the example is always clear. If they see you walking that way, then we can walk that way. And that's what it's all about. I thank you, and God bless. Great.
We want to thank the speaker for that. I tell you, he was full of knowledge. I don't know who he was, but I may see if I can catch up with him later. We want to thank Sister Owensworth for those songs before. Now we have Sister Eleanor that's here. I don't know whether to say Sister Eleanor Hatchett or whether to call Sister Harriet Tubman. But I'm going to call our next guest in, and she's going to do what's on her heart, share with us.
Come home in the room. Come on in the room. Yeah, tell like you don't know. Jesus is my God, and He writes my scripture, and He gives me all my medicine in the room. Oh, come on.
Come on.
In the room. Come on, y'all.
Come on.
Come on in the room. Oh, Jesus is my doctor. He writes down all of my scripture, and He gives me all of my medicine in the room. Oh, in the room. Oh, He's in the room.
In the room.
All right, then. Y'all, I wouldn't call up here to talk, but y'all see this dress I got on? Back home, where I'm from Trinity, Texas, we got an old woman there, who's 102. And this dress is 70 plus years old.
Wow.
And she was known as the seamstress. And she worked in the big house too. As he told you, if you was light, but he knew at that time. You worked in the big house.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay? Can y'all imagine how many biscuits she cooked in that big house? So, and I just wouldn't sing my song without giving you the history. I'm a big girl now. So I had to get my class to make her put some more. And this dress got holes in it. But she's so good at sewing, she patched up some of the holes, 70 plus years old. I ain't 70 yet, but I got a lot of holes.
Look out. Look out. Look out.
So, and she told me, she said, baby, she said, look, she said, will you wear that dress? Wow. And she had tears in her eyes.
My Lord.
I said, yes, ma'am, Miss Lil, I'll do my best. She said, stand up straight, hold your head back. So, all of us gathered here today, and I hope one day y'all might see that lady. And y'all give me a score and let her know how I represented her dress. I'm going to sing this, and I'm going to go sit down.
All right.
Are y'all ready?
Yes, ma'am.
You know, as a little girl, we had a creek. And when I got baptized, it was like 40, 45 of us. And the old sisters would tie their heads up, put on their white dresses, and they'd go down to the creek. And they would sing a little song like this. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water, God's gonna show the water. All right, oh, wade in the water, wade in the water, you know it. Wade in the water, God's gonna trouble the water. Well, I haven't been to heaven, but I've been told God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, the streets up there is paved with gold. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, and wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. Oh, 'cause God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, God's gonna trouble the water. Thank
Don't
you.
leave me here. Don't leave me here. Come on, get some more. Don't leave me here. All right.
You sure you don't have anything else, Dick?
Don't leave me here.
You're doing such a good job.
Well, I told Miss Effie, she kind of helped me pick one out. And I told Miss Effie, just do the one, and she said the same thing. So I led a little bit of it.
Just give me a little bit of it.
He's in the room. Sir,
Give me a little bit of it.
Oh, what?
Or what you been saying now?
You
Come
know,
on. Come on.
we had a pastor, Pastor Tisdale, which half of y'all in here know. And when I first went to St. Jude, I was like, why he always sing that old song? But after I got older, you see, and I come here with 2 little girls, I experienced life. I got grandkids, 2 girls, and I got a multitude of grandkids. And every Sunday he would lay out on the song, and I would get so tired of it. And if y'all will help me sing this in remembrance of Reverend Tisdale. Shine on me. Shine on me. And I would say, I wish he'd shut up, but he'd read head back. From the lighthouse, shine on me. Can you say something like that? I heard the voice from Jesus say, come unto me and rest, lie down, thy weary red one, lie down, thy head upon my breast. Thank you.
All right. That's good. Yes.
That took us way back, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Montgomery. We appreciate that, and that just warmed our hearts up. And we're down to our closing remarks, but before we get to our closing remarks, I've asked a special guest to come, and I want you to know all of you guys are special guests, and I thank you all for being here. But this one happens to be, if I recall, I talked with her about 2 weeks ago, and we had the best conversations, and I learned so much just in that one setting. We have Miss Lorraine DeBose. I just want to see if, she may not feel like talking, but would you like to say anything? She shared with me that she's 95. Is that right, Miss DeBose?
Come on, young rascal.
You know, and that has to be a whole lot of wisdom there. I
Yeah.
know that it is.
Yeah.
Mr. Bose, would you like to say anything to us today?
I am so happy to be here, and I've often heard that God works in mysterious ways.
All right.
I didn't feel that I would be able to come, but I wanted to come, so I was blessed to be able to come.
Yeah.
And I have certainly enjoyed this week. And it was so wonderful. And I feel like my feeling that I wasn't able to come and didn't know for sure if I would be able to come was one of God's way of sending me someone to you that would do so well. I have certainly enjoyed the message. It was wonderful. And I just admit, I couldn't do that. But I was willing to try. And since I couldn't give myself the invitation, I was able to be here. And I haven't regretted not one mishearing one word of what was said. It was just a blessing to be here and a blessing to receive this message. And I appreciate the invitation for being asked to speak. But I don't regret not speaking. Because I realize that each one of you have received a wonderful and knowledgeable about the past. And thanks again though for inviting me.
Amen.
Okay, I know we have some other elders in the house, people that are over 90 and 85. I know we have some here from last year. Would anyone like to share part in this program? I don't want to skip over anyone who would like to, if you're elders. Okay, well, I have one person that would like to say something. I'm gonna call, he's not an old man at all. Came up just a little bit ahead of me. Matter of fact, I was hoping, my mother used to work for his mom, and I used to hope that she had used up all the spankings on him before she got home to me. I don't know if it worked out that way or not, but I'm gonna call Mr. Michael Walby.
Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all inviting me up here today. I saw Arnett this morning, and I know a lot of the people here were all raised together, and like I said, Willie Ann, and all of us were, Frankie and Louis Ray, and all of us were raised together, and Willie D tore me up just like I was hers. I assure you she did. We appreciate y'all doing this today. It's an honor to be here. I enjoyed hearing, you know, there's a lot of history here. A lot of people don't know the history. We need to get Tommy Matchett up here with y'all. He knows a lot of the history too, and so it's very good. And I appreciate y'all inviting me up here today. And I've enjoyed myself, and a lot of y'all have known all my life, so I appreciate it. And y'all have a good day today.
All right. We're going to go on and acknowledge some of the people that, some names that I have here, and then we'll go from there, and we'll be ready to eat, guys. Yes. Okay, we want to thank Mr. Ernest Easley. Mr. Ernest Easley, well, better keep these on, I can't see very good. Mr. Ernest Easley has done the barbecuing for us ever since we've been having it. He's been one of our barbecue men. He does a great job, and Ernest does anything that we ask him to do. So Ernest, we just appreciate you. We appreciate you dearly for everything that you do. He's everywhere all the time. I don't know how you do it. Thank you, Ernest.
All right. No.
It's not a chicken. I need to recognize my cousin, Mr. August Lestrap. Mr. August Lestrap, I call him Cousin Bubba. Cousin Bubba comes anytime he's called. He's right there for any function, family function or whatever we have. If Cousin Bubba can do something for you, he's there. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we have Miss Eleanor Hatchett. Miss Eleanor is always doing stuff in the community. She's around, always doing things at her church and stuff, and she's willing to help with anything, and I just appreciate you coming. You scared me at first. Somebody told me, she said 1 o'clock. I said, oh,
I had to go to the cemetery to cut a tree down.
all right, okay. My kind of woman, country woman, my kind of woman. I like that. Okay, and Miss Edna Owensworth, another one that does the same. Anytime you call her, she's there. All you have to do is call. Thank you.
All right.
We have, I know we have some others, we have goats that I know a lot of people like and some don't like. I love it myself. We had kind of got in a bind and we didn't have anyone to barbecue the goat. So we had to call on my dear brother-in-law who never turns me down for anything. And I just appreciate you, and that is to Mr. George Wilson. And in order to get get that goat cooked, of course, it has to be dressed and ready. And Mr. Hobie Carrington is not here. Actually, his name is Eddie Carrington, nickname Hobie, and I got a bad habit of calling nicknames around here.
All right.
That's, when you country girls, that's what you do in country boys. But Mr. Hobie Carrington, want you guys to know if you see him, Hobie